To discuss about the results of the meeting of the 20 richest countries in the world, we invited Ussal Sabhaz, director of the G20 Studies of TEPAV, one of the main think tank in Turkey. Welcome. The G20 strongly condemned terroristic attacks in Paris, but what did G20 concretely do to fight against international terrorism?
Of course, G20 so far has not focused on terrorism. It's a new issue and it is very urgent. G7 used to have a lot of tools, about financial tools to fight with terrorism, to overcome the financial transactions that support terrorists. But what we see is that this is not enough. You have to go to the deeper causes of terrorism, particularly developmental issues. G20 so far limited itself only with the financial issues.
When we are talking about the recent attacks, obviously we are talking as well about Syria. After so many bilateral talks that we've seen in this summit, do you think we are any closer to any diplomatic solution for Syria?
I think the positions are quite far away from each other, but the Paris attacks will make it much more urgent, and G20 has been a very good platform for the leaders to come together. We'll see the results. So we are closer, but it won't be soon.
When we are talking about the Syria war, we are talking as well about the problem of refugees. Now, we know that is a problem that Turkey knows very well because it hosts more than 2 million of refugees. Which is the impact of the Syrian refugees in the Turkish economy?
Of course, it's a big burden for Turkey. So far, the cost is estimated to be $5 billion, and there are 2.2 million refugees, which is a huge number. Now, it is also an issue for Europe, and Europe is reacting a lot. But what we also see is that refugees also present an economic opportunity. If you look at the statistics in the last year, you see that 1 out of 40 enterprises in Turkey were started by Syrians. This is a huge number, and what they do is actually to trade with Syria. What we see is that trade with Syria has reached the numbers that was before the war. So they are economically beneficial to Turkey. And if Europeans also become take a more softer position, I think they will also be useful for the economy of Europe.
Does it mean this that we have to give the possibility to work for Syrian refugees?
The thing that the G20 should do, the leaders should do, is to agree on a scheme that would make these people legally work and formally work where they settle, because they are not soon to go back. We have to utilize them.
The environment is a new issue for the G20, in particular the fight against climate change. Why the G20 and why now?
Because the environment has become a financial topic. It poses a financial risk to insurance companies, to banks, to real companies that do operations, because it will be in the equations of the gains and losses. Now, what we have been seeing is that it has been very hard for the G20 leaders to agree on a paragraph on the climate. And this shows that still these countries are far away from each other in one of the most fundamental issues that the Earth is facing. The paragraphs on terrorism has been much easier to write than the paragraphs on the climate change.
Thank you for being on Euronews.
Thank you very much.